as Hisako's friends mount a dangerous rescue mission to save her from the Cult of X. New revelations come to life that may just end up redefining what it means to be a mutant in this brand new Ultimate Universe. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Ultimate X-Men, issue number 15, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Kanon's cop brother, who as we learned in this issue actually isn't a cop at all, was having a very important meeting with Futaba. It seems that she's managed to get her hands on some very important paperwork belonging to the Cult of X, stuff that completely recontextualizes everything. He thought he knew about that dead body in the suitcase. Apparently the cult is working on something called Project MYX. It also just so happens to involve the astral plane, but oh wait, there's more. Futaba knows full well that this guy's sister, the girl who would be Psylocke, are already in deep with the church and probably planning a very dangerous rescue mission soon. Also, I mentioned before that this lady has rogue hair. Well, this issue goes out of its way to reiterate that what her actual power is the ability to see auras. And that she knew all this information was good because it was passed off to her by someone with a good aura. Honestly, I like the idea that this lady might not even be a mutant at all, just one of those hippy-dippy people who turned out being 100% right in this scenario. Now, it's after that we pick back on up with Nico Minoru, who has actually managed to infiltrate the Cult of X by pretending to be a new convert going by the alias Grimm. Her magic tricks actually go a very long way to ingratiate herself with the cult's younger members, which is actually kind of interesting in and of itself, implying that not everyone in this group gets powers right away, and when they do, they're not usually awesome. Nico also learns that the group's maester actually hasn't been showing up for the last little bit, hiding out in secret. Ever since Hisako was taken, Nico goes out of her way to get a good lay of the land inside this building for the big rescue mission, and even overhears the maester talking about Hisako and Kageyama. And hey, speaking of Kageyama, he's out of the hyperbolic healing chamber, and has been put right back to work by the cult using his strange connection to the astral plane to do, well, honestly, I'm not 100% sure yet. He's just doing something, and it's very important. Apparently, getting him back to work was easy enough so long as they promised that they would re-wake Hisako, the girl that he is so currently obsessed with. We also learned something truly hilarious this issue, and that is all those spiral pictures and the bucket on his head that's clearly meant to mimic the main universe Shadow King's fez hat. Yeah, that all doesn't actually do anything, it's just for show. But because Shadow King is the cult's prize pig, and because they seem to be just as scared of Kageyama as they are anyone else, they let him do it, even though they also keep him in a room that limits his powers, and keeps him from hearing all the crap they're talking about him. Of course, this room ends up working both ways too, meaning that Viper and Meister don't end up hearing him go on a long screed about how the only way he'll be able to save Armor and live happily ever after is if he can somehow kill Akihiro. Ah yes, some of you forgot about Akihiro, aka Daken. Yes, that Daken, Wolverine's son. The blood bag, where it's heavily implied the Cult of the X is actually getting the juice that they use to give young mutants their powers. Kageyama starts screaming out psychically through the astral planes about his plans to kill Akihiro, and then, well, the strangest damn thing happens. Other mutants, like Nico's little friend Mori, actually end up picking up the message, which is actually kind of interesting in and of itself, because I don't think they actually revealed what Mori's powers were up until right now. Mori tells May and the other girls about her horrifying vision about this Akihiro person, the torture that he's clearly suffering at the hands of the cult, and how very well he might end up being the secret key to saving Armor and undoing the Cult of X once and for all. In fact, it seems that Futaba and Kanon's brother are actually on the same track too. Futaba even managed to get a picture of what Akihiro looked like before the cult grabbed him. Apparently he has no name and no real history, which gets really compelling when we stop and remember that if he really is Wolverine's kid like in the main universe, and Wolverine had a whole long history before amnesia and before becoming the Winter Soldier, then all of this just became really interesting now, didn't it? As the comic comes to a close, Kanon's brother talks about how he might not be a cop anymore, but that's not going to stop him from doing good and trying to save his sister and her friends, even if it means going up against a dangerous death cult all on his own. And so that was Ultimate X-Men issue number 15, everybody, and overall I thought this one was a marked improvement over the last two issues that I didn't much enjoy, feeling that they kinda just spun their wheels and didn't really do much to advance the plot or even give us any interesting insight into the characters. This issue is better because stuff is actually happening now. Wheels are in motion. Multiple groups of characters are now all headed in the same direction, even if this issue basically just existed to get a bunch of people up to speed on stuff that we as the reader kind of already knew. I guess too that because this is an Ultimate X-Men book, it was about time that the other characters started doing more stuff independently of Armor, considering that she's basically held the entire narrative and mystery plot on her back since all of this began. Now she's essentially sat this arc out more or less. I did enjoy this issue, even if I do feel it's a little thin compared to the series at its absolute best, which is why I can really only give this one a 6 out of 10. Hell, even the little cultural appendices at the back of this issue felt a little lackluster and like it was phoning it in. In the past, it actually gave us some very important context to better understand the story as it relates to Japanese history and religious customs. In this issue, it was literally just a breakdown of what Conan's brother was eating at the diner. Which, you know, don't get me wrong, fun change of pace, but like I said before, comes in a little below expectation, and this series really has managed to get my expectations sky high. Which is why I can really only give it a 6 out of 10. I hope that this arc can kick to the finish line, though, and actually offer us something cool and compelling that really hooks me back again.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.